everybody. Prepper Nurse One here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So before we get started, if we have any interruptions in this tonight, just be patient. I will get right back online as soon as I possibly can. So I just want to put that out there right off the bat so that if you see all of a sudden I'm gone, just check back because I will get right back on as soon as I possibly can. Okay, so just putting that out there for everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope your work weeks are going okay. It's already freaking Wednesday, freaking flying by, to be honest with you. It's crazy. So a lot of information, a lot of stuff going on. We're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff tonight, okay? So we'll get into that in just a couple of minutes. I want to remind everybody before we get started that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel, so please be decent to each other in the chat. Please be kind. If you are not, my awesome moderators will boot you out of here because we don't tolerate any of that kind of nonsense in the chat. So please be decent. We don't want to have everybody get kicked out for for being stupid. So just be decent. That's all I ask. No racism, no nastiness. Just everybody be decent to each other. Okay. All right. So that being said, if you have any questions as I get going here, all cap locks, please. They stand out to me more because I'm trying to watch the board. And Ed, should we be purchasing seeds? I think it's a very good idea. If you don't have seeds already, you definitely should have them in your preps. It's really important to have seeds because on the other side of whatever's going to happen, getting things in is not going to be the option. Growing is going to be the option. So I absolutely strongly recommend that everybody has seeds and make sure you get heirloom seeds, not the hybrid stuff, so that you can actually collect the seeds from your plants and reuse them. Okay, so that's what definitely should recommend that with that. How much money should we have on hand? Dee Dee just asked that. It's a good question, Dee Dee. It depends on what you can afford, what you can comfortably set aside. I can't, everybody's situation is different. So what I say for one person may not work for somebody else. So that I can't really give you an exact number of what you should have. But you definitely should have cash on hand because if there is any kind of a grid down situation or something like that, money's going to talk and BS is going to walk. So having cash on hand is a really smart thing to do, especially, if you're in that emergency situation early on. Cash will still be king until they realize that cash is worthless. So think about that. All right, so let's get into the topic really, really quickly. But before we get rocking here too, I see we're already at 700 people in the chat. If you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I would definitely appreciate that. Now we got a record to shoot for. We hit 800 thumbs up? Yeah, it was 1,800 thumbs up in the last chat. So I'm not sure if we can beat that tonight, but let's see what we can do. So thank you for the support ahead of time. It just gives positive feedback for the channel. So I do appreciate that if you do that. All right, so let's give the updated numbers first of what they're telling us, okay? So they're saying that there's 76,262 people infected, and they're saying that the death toll is at 2,122. That's the latest numbers that I just saw, okay? How accurate is that? Well, that's obviously speculation. Do I believe those are accurate numbers? I absolutely do not believe that. Again, that's my opinion, okay? I'm going to make sure I give you my opinion. I'm giving you what they're telling us, and then I'm giving you my opinion. Now, here's something interesting. I'm not sure if a lot of you knew this or not, and I don't know how to say this name, so I'm going to spell it out. QOM in Iran. It's a city in Iran. They just had 2 deaths from the coronavirus. Now, this other part of it, I cannot confirm. There's some video has just recently came out, and it looks like they're locking that city down. It looks like the Iranian government is locking that city down. So something to think about. They just had 2 confirmed deaths of coronavirus in Iran, and it does look like they're locking that city down. So that's something to think about. Kind of scary, to be honest with you. Now, there's something I wanted to tell you. So New York, New York's a pretty big state. A lot of stuff going on. I'm sure you guys have heard stuff. There's got to be cases in New York City. There's cases in Buffalo, I've heard. There's cases in Rochester. There's different cases in different places, okay? They just came out and admitted that they have 26 people under observation in Westchester County, okay? So I don't know all the details of that. They're being kind of vague. I don't think they're under quarantine, but they're under like quarantine at home is what I understand from that situation. Again, there's a lot that we're not being given the information to, and we're going to go over why in a second here. But I think it's really, really important. We have to pay attention to what is happening. All right. You're seeing cluster outbreaks now. So we're going to talk about that really quickly as well. We have cluster outbreaks in Japan. We have cluster outbreaks in, I think it's Taiwan, and cluster outbreaks in South Korea. All right. So what does that mean? You're all of a sudden starting to see other outbreaks starting to happen. You need to pay attention to that. If we start getting cluster outbreaks here in the U.S., which in my opinion is probably already happening, but they're keeping the lid on stuff. I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of stuff. If you want to really see what's going on with a lot of this stuff that's going on, a lot of hospitals aren't testing for squat. People are sick. People are, having problems and stuff like that. They're not even testing them for the virus. They're just saying, well, the hospitals are full, go home, or whatever they're doing to people, or they're putting them off to secondary locations and they're being treated there. So then it doesn't count. Then the hospital doesn't have to report, oh, yes, there's definitely coronavirus here. I'm going to tell you what, guys, the time to be nervous is really kind of past. It's not time to panic, because we don't want to panic. Panic is not healthy. It's not productive. But again, there's a lot going on that we are not being privy to. Okay, so here's something interesting I wanted to talk about. So we're going to talk about this really, really quickly. So that cruise ship, the Diamond Princess. Now, this makes me more concerned probably than anything else right now. You just had 600 people left the Diamond Princess. Go wherever you want to go. Have a good time, right? They just let release 600 people after the 14-day quarantine. But the problem is you have all kinds of new cases popping up. They just had another 79 new cases from the Diamond Princesses pop up. So the total people infected now on the Diamond Princess is up to 621 people. That's 20% of the people on that ship. And you can't tell me that if people are all of a sudden now testing positive a lot, that all these other people might not possibly have the virus and be in a new incubation period time. Really, really scary. And with that, I want you to think about this too. Now, we had flown about 300 people back to the United States from the Diamond Princess the other day. 14 of those people definitely had the coronavirus. Those were the 14 people that were added on to our total. We were at 15. They brought it up to 29. Now they've taken it back to 15. What, did those people disappear? We just brought 14 more people into the U.S. with the coronavirus, okay? So that number is at least minimum at 29. Do I think that number is much, much higher? I absolutely do. Again, they're underreporting it here in the United States. We're going to get into why in a little while, but that's something I want you guys to think about. This is no joke. I mean, this is no joke at all. You have right now 746 people in Washington State are under observation. Okay, why so many, right? There's only one person came off that plane in Washington State. How come there's so many people? I'm telling you what, guys, we're not being told all the information. We really are not, okay? So right now, going back to the Diamond Princess, there's still 61 Americans still on the Diamond Princess. All the rest of the people are scheduled to be released tomorrow. Those 61 people are on a no-fly list to be able to fly into the United States for, I think it's a 2-week, it's a temporary hold on them. They're not allowed to fly. Why would that be? If their quarantine is over and they're perfectly healthy according to what's going on, guys, I'm going to tell you what, this is, we are not being fed all the information. That is my opinion. Absolutely. The numbers that are coming out of China are not accurate. That is also my opinion. But all these other organizations are saying the exact same thing, that the numbers coming out are not accurate. The U.S. government is saying that the numbers are not accurate. So I'm not like the only one saying that. But here's something that I think is really, really funny, okay? Not funny and ha-ha funny, but I've talked about that. I said from the very beginning of this that I personally felt that the infection and everything that started came out of that level 4 containment unit in Wuhan. And lo and behold, what is the Chinese government saying now? They're saying that it's a good possibility that something escaped from that laboratory. Isn't that amazing? And it's not that I'm like, oh my God, wow, you're so smart and you figured it out. It's paying attention to what's going on, reading through the BS. I never believed it was bat soup. I never believed it was, from a snake. This thing was a contagion that was developed, that was built by man because of the way that the whole breakdown. And I want you guys to remember something too. There is no cure. I don't care what crap you're hearing through this person is saying this works or this person saying that works. There's no cure. At this point, there is no cure for this virus, okay? So that's something to think about. I just saw also on the news that somebody had just said that there's a chance that 60% of the people will get the virus. Hey, JAEUFM, so much being said and not matching the actions. Exactly. Very, very good comment. Very true. Their actions of what they're doing, these different governments, guys, tells you that there's a lot more going on. There are people now isolated in Vietnam as well, okay? They're now, like I said, we're having these cluster outbreaks, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan. It's spreading. It's here in the United States. I'm going to tell you right now, it's already in Africa. If you don't think it's in Africa, you think of the Chinese presence in Africa right now already. They've been there, okay? There's been a lot going on in Africa. I guarantee you this thing's in Africa as well. This is going to be something that, here's what I want you to think about, okay? So here in the United States, we got great medicine, right? We're one of the Western countries. We have fantastic medicine. But you overwhelm the system, and the system's pretty much overwhelmed on a daily basis anyway. You throw this contagion in on top of that, it's going to be a nightmare. It is going to be a nightmare. Now, why do we think, because we're going to give opinion here, guys. Why is the U.S. government holding back and not telling us the truth? Okay, so we're going to talk about that for a second. In my opinion, the reason is, it's about controlling the narrative, number one, but it's also about not having people panic. They don't want people to panic till they have everything in place, everything organized the way that they want to have things squared away so they can try to control the situation, okay? Anybody heard if it's in the Philippines? That I do not know. I have not heard that. I have no idea. I really don't know. It's a biological warfare now. Yeah, Wolfgang, you're right. It's absolutely biological warfare. It was something that they developed, something that they made to use as a biological weapon. It either escaped or was released on purpose, and so this is the result of it, okay? You have a lot of stuff going on, and it might not have been Taiwan. It might have been Hong Kong where we're having the clusters. It was one of those two. I know it was South Korea, and I know it was Japan where they're having cluster outbreaks, but it was either Taiwan or Hong Kong was where these other cluster outbreaks are starting, and people that were not in China. So there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff, like I said, with everything that is going on with, these people that came into the United States that tested positive for it, okay? My concern, and I said this right from the very beginning, who else did they come in contact with? What else was going on there that we're not being given that information to? So when you have somebody who's sick and all of a sudden, they're on an airplane with all these other people, then they go into the airport with all these other people, then they go into the city, and a couple days later or whatever it may be, they feel sick, and now they finally go to the hospital. How many people have they come in contact with in the meantime with that? So you can't BS me and say, oh, well, he came off the airport and he went right home and didn't do anything else. That's not what happens. That's not what happens with anybody. You go to the store, you do this, you do that. And then if you start feeling ill, you may go to the store, get some medicine or whatever, however you deal with it on an individual basis. Until he got worse, that's when he went to the hospital. That's when he was diagnosed with having the coronavirus. So, again, that's how that works. Hey, Math, Music, and Life. Do ultraviolet lights kill this coronavirus? So many false negatives. So not testing mobile incinerators in Wuhan. I don't know the information to that, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's killing the coronavirus. I know that they're saying, and again, this is what, there's no proof of this yet, but they're saying the coronavirus can live for 9 days on the surface of something. That's kind of really, really scary, okay? And so, there is I would recommend you could either use UV light to help try to kill anything on there, but also I would recommend to people, like disinfecting anything. Bleach and water is probably your best bet to try to disinfect anything on a surface of something. That would be my opinion. The way to disinfect anything is bleach and water. So there was a case in the Philippines a few weeks ago that have not seen any new cases there yet. Okay. Didn't some lady die in the Philippines? I think there was a death in the Philippines too, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't know if there's any new cases there or not. But again, like I said, you have all these governments around the world. Because I'm going to tell you what, even though North Korea has locked off their border, now they just executed somebody that was a government official that was told to quarantine in-house or whatever, and he went to like a local bathhouse or something, and they found out and they executed him. Now that's something that definitely did happen. But again, why would they be going to that extreme? There's a lot more going on than we're being told. Guarantee it 100%. Again, that's my opinion. Okay. I'm giving you my opinion, but, it's just, it's absolutely crazy what is happening. And we just need to be as ready as we possibly can be. I'll be honest with you. I was out again today. I got some more things today. I added more food today. I have a ton of food, but I added more. I also ended up going and getting some more stuff for the animals as well. Just trying to be as ready as I possibly can be. And because, the problem with this whole situation, there's a lot of mismanagement. We can see that. There's a lot of truths not being told. We can see that. Those you can look at it and go, they're not telling us the facts. Okay. So there's a lot of mismanagement. There is the government's actions, like the person said in an earlier comment, their actions are not lining up with what is actually going on. So you wouldn't do what they're doing if it wasn't severe, if it wasn't something that we all needed to be concerned about. There was a woman in her 40s that died in Thailand. Okay. Let me see. Hold on a second. Somebody just said something. I wanted to see what they said. You can never have too much food and water. James Osborne just said that. And you're right. I don't believe that you can ever have too much food and water. Hospitals using the HIPAA law to hide from being... Exactly. They're going to always hide behind the HIPAA laws and privacy and all this type of stuff. And again, people are not being tested. Okay, so the flu is rampant anyway. And the coronavirus masks the same symptoms of the flu. So how do you know what is going on? How do you know those people don't have the coronavirus? You don't. You really don't. How could you? Okay, unless they test for it, and they're not testing for it. They're trying to suppress the numbers. They want to keep calm. Because here's the difference. Let's talk about the difference between. Okay, here's a great example. Difference between the United States and China as far as locking down and controlling the people. Okay, it can happen in China because they have total and complete control over the people. Their people are unarmed. They cannot defend themselves, and the government will come in there and they will lock them down. Try to lock people down in the United States and see how that works out for you. There is a lot of people in the United States that have guns, as we all know. There's a lot of guns in the United States. And I think there's more guns in the United States than there are people, to be honest with you. I think that's the last I saw, there was more guns than people in the United States. So here's what I want you to think about like that. They lock us down here in the United States. You think people are going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to listen to that. Call of Booty. How do you deal with punks at school if a Stone Ager? I don't know what you mean. How do I deal with punks at school? If somebody's harassing you, you can, I'm going to tell you what, this is what I told my daughter, and you can take this as good advice or bad advice. I said, if you are being bullied by somebody at school, I said, what you do, and this is the only reason why I would say this, and I used to say to her, if you feel like that person may hurt you, I go, you hurt them first. I said, I will always have your back on that. Don't let anybody bully you. Be the aggressor. Because I'm going to tell you what, 9 times out of 10, a bully, they got no stones. They only feel tough when they got a crowd around them or they got somebody egging them on. As soon as you confront them and get in their face, or you actually assault them, that's when they stops. And then if the school suspends you for defending yourself, well, that's, I'm sorry. I would always support my daughter. And I told her, I said, if you feel like you're being threatened, that person may hurt you, my advice is to hurt that person first. Otherwise, if they're just verbally harassing you, then go to the proper authorities and try to deal with that. Schools are full of crap as far as the higher ups at school, that they really give a crap. They don't care. They really don't. But so my advice is always be proactive. Stand up for yourself. Don't let nobody push you around, because we shouldn't allow that. But But anyway, what I was saying too, I want to get back to what I was talking about. People in the United States will absolutely not lay down and deal with a martial law if they can help it. They won't do it. And so you're going to have people, there's going to be shootouts, there's going to be all kinds of craziness. And here's something I want you to think about too. And I've talked about this a lot of times, guys, and I've talked about this a lot. The most dangerous person in an SHTF event is somebody who is scared and panicking. Those are your are actually scared and desperate, is what I've always said, scared and desperate. So the person's panicking and they're desperate. They have no food, no water, whatever they don't have. You have it. They're going to do whatever they have to do to take it away from you. So, you need to really focus on protecting your family, protecting what you have, being prepared yourself. I will always, always encourage you guys to prepare yourselves. Don't not prepare. Don't depend on somebody else to take care of you. Depend on yourself. That's the important thing that you really need to think about. Okay. Now I got to mention real quick, I got to get the whole business part of it out of the way. The sale on my website is still going on right now at prepperNurse1.com. That is going to end on Sunday. That sale will be over on Sunday. And this time it really is going to end. Okay. I was asked to be extended, so I extended it for some people, and because they were waiting on tax returns and stuff like that. So the sale is definitely going to be ending on Sunday, midnight West Coast time. The way you save on, you go to my website, prepperNurse1.com, you click on the store, it pops down, you'll see Legacy, click on that. 20% will be taken off at checkout. So there's an automatic coupon that goes on there for you guys. So if you're looking to add to your freeze-dried food storage, please do so. Again, I'm always going to encourage you guys, you should have some freeze-dried foods. Doesn't necessarily have to be what I sell on my website. If you like Augustin Farms, if you like Mountain House, get whatever you're comfortable with. So like I said, I'm not trying to tell you buy my stuff, but if you do buy my stuff, it does help support the channel. And that's what I'm going to say about that. But it should be part of your preps. Freeze-dried food should definitely be part of your preps, no matter what. Okay. So food, water, medical supplies, plastic, duct tape, whatever you need to get. I really encourage you guys. That window of opportunity is closing. So I'm talking about those desperate and scared people here a moment ago, and that's what I wanted to get back to. When things really blow up and people realize, hey, Call of Booty, should I headlock them in class? No. I mean, you would go to the teacher in class. That's what I would recommend for that. For, if you're having an issue in class, go to the teacher. So, I mean, only if you feel somebody's trying to hurt you, then you do what you need to do. But thank you for that donation as well. I appreciate that. But again, desperate and scared people, when the time comes, the shelves in stores are going to be empty, guys. There's not going to be nothing there to get. Okay. So by the time, if you decide, okay, well, now I need to go do something, that's when it's going to be too late. So we have that window of opportunity to get things is closing. So take advantage of that right now if you can. Because, we just don't know. There's way too many things that have not been explained with this virus. There's too many unknowns from how long the incubation period is. I mean, there's speculation that it's 14 to 24 days. So what's the real number? We don't know. We know that it's airborne. We know that you are infectious when it is asymptomatic. You have no symptoms at all. You feel fine. You have the virus. You're walking around. You're spreading it to other people. That's a fact. That's what's happening right now. Okay, so that they know for sure. Again, here's the other thing. There's talk that, yes, you can be reinfected once you've been infected. What you got to remember, too, and I want people to think about this, with this virus, it's going to mutate. It's already mutated. So it gets stronger. And like I said, so this thing is gonna when it's moving, it's jumping around, it's changing all the time. So that's something that's even scarier because of the fact that, number one, there's no cure for this thing right now at all. And when you have higher up officials saying that it's a possibility that 60% of the planet could become infected. Now, I saw on something today that they were saying that the death rate is only about 2.3%. Hey, Christian, how can I make my house more secure to shelter in place? The best way to do that is you want to get like plastic that, 3 mil, 4 mil, 6 mil plastic that you can get at the hardware store. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it at any supply company like a Lowe's or Home Depot or Maynard's. I know some people have Maynard's. We don't have Maynard's here in New York, but whatever you go, get that there. Get yourself that duct tape. And if you have to shelter in place, you can seal up your windows with that, seal up your doorways and stuff like that, so that there's not going to be, hopefully, any kind of cross-contamination with that. I would seal up my vents. If you're in an apartment building, the vents would be one thing that I would definitely seal up right away, because your vents is at apartment to apartment air circulating, and you don't know who would have it on another floor or something like that. So that I would recommend as well if you're looking to shelter in place and if you're in an apartment. So, but if you're in a house, you can seal up your windows with plastic and stuff like that as well. That's one way to help, secure your living environment. So that's I hope that helps, and thank you very much for that donation. I do appreciate it. It's going to be active for over a year. Well, here's the thing: is everybody's saying, "Oh, when the warmer weather, it's going to go away." Well, there's places over there in Southeast Asia right now where it's not wintertime; it's summertime, and the warm temperatures, and the people are still getting the virus. So again, be aware of the secondary infections. I heard that the secondary infection is even worse than the first one. The secondary infection is what's really killing people. So that is definitely something to think about too. Guys, I'm going to ask again, if you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I absolutely would appreciate it. Hey, Sharon, let's see. How can I look after my cat if the coronavirus comes to Ireland? He won't stay inside, loves freedom. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me go back and read the rest of that. Can give friend Stephen Johnson. Oh, can you give Stephen Johnson a shout out? Thank you. Okay, Stephen Johnson, John Stone. Oh, yeah, John Stone. I'm sorry. Giving you a shout out from Sharon there, Sharon Galloway. And again, as far as pets goes, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they can catch it. Actually, I know there was somebody was saying that there was a horse that had it. I heard somewhere that cats can't get it. Again, I don't know what the information is. I don't know if the animals can get it or not. I really don't. Again, we're not being given all the information. So my cats are indoor, outdoor cats too. They would not want to stay in the house. So in that type of situation, you're going to have to make that call. If their virus is breaking loose and it's all over the place, you may need to keep those pets inside just to keep them safe. That would be my advice as far as that goes. So, and again, thank you very much for that donation. I do appreciate it. So, can anyone confirm if the virus is in New Hampshire or Florida? I haven't seen anything that says that yes, it is yet. So I can't tell you that it's been confirmed that it's there. Would it surprise me? Absolutely would not surprise me. I'm going to tell you what, it's way more prevalent in New York. And I've talked about this before, guys. You're talking New York City's 8.5 million people. And you can't tell me that there's no cases in New York City of this virus. Things are being kept secret from us. They really, really, truly are. Guys, if you are not a subscriber to the channel and you're watching for the first time, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell icon to get all updates as well. So just wanted to put that out there. So if you're interested and you like what we're doing here, and I know we have had a huge influx of new people coming into the channel, and I do appreciate that as well. Hey, Andrew, what is the secondary infection? Okay, secondary infection, if you have the virus and you already have something else going on, that's a secondary infection, which weakens your immune systems, which makes you more susceptible to the virus in the first place. So that's what's real. A lot of people that are compromised already, that's what is really getting people. So that's your secondary infection. Now, if you can get the virus a second time, I heard that is also more deadly than getting it the first time. I heard that there are a lot of people are having, damage from the infection the first time, and then they get the infection again, and the second time it's killing them. That's what I've heard. I can't confirm or deny that, but that's the information that's going out there, and I just wanted to share that with you so that you know. But the infection is much more deadly for people that are already compromised. So if you have something else going on, like cancer, and you're getting treatments for cancer, that makes you much more susceptible, because your immune system's already down at that point. Let's see. Hold on a second. Somebody said something about it being airborne. Hold on. I want to go back so I can read that. ABC News tonight said there are over 1,000 under surveillance in New York. Oh, okay. Well, that I did not know that there was that many. Isn't it only airborne up to 6 feet? Yes, I heard that it was only airborne up to 6 feet. But again, how do they know that for 100% sure? Okay. And if you think about it, if you're in a crowd, a 6-foot area, that's quite a lot of people that you're going to affect, if that's correct information. Okay, I'm not saying that it is, and I'm not saying that it isn't. But if it's airborne up to 6 feet, you're talking about a large area of people that are going to be infected by that. So that is definitely something to think about. It's just like I said, avoid crowds if you can. Like I said, I will say what I've said from the very beginning. I believe we need to prepare to shelter in place. So how do you prepare to shelter in place? You get the supplies that you need, the comfort things that you want to get. Like, I'm going to tell you what, I went out today and they have grapefruit juice in the plastic containers. I got grapefruit juice, grape juice. I got more V8. I picked up cranberry juice. I like those things. I got another case of Gatorade. Another 12 things of Gatorade. I already have Gatorade here at the house, but I figure if it got to the point where I had to shelter in place, okay, now I would walk around my property, obviously, but I wouldn't be leaving. I want to have stuff that I like here. I want to have stuff that I'll drink, and that I'll eat. So, get out there and get those comfort foods that you like too, but also get that long-term food storage as well. Your rice, your beans, your canned goods that can last a long time. Get the stuff that you like. I like bean and bacon soup. I like vegetable beef soup. I like, chicken noodle, all those type of things. So tomato soup. So what am I going to buy? I'm going to buy stuff that I like. It just makes sense. You want to buy stuff that you're going to eat anyway. Get your comfort foods that you want. Stock up. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to hurt anything to have the extra for right now. Because like I said, there's too many unknowns. We're not being given all the information, and that's more frightening to me, like I said, than anything else. There's way too much misinformation going out there. There's people going around, this is nothing, this is a psych op. There's another channel that was saying that this is all about nothing. And you know what? People are going to say what they're going to say. If this ends up being a big nothing burger, and we've talked about this is a win-win opportunity for us. If you're prepared and you're ready for this event and it turns out to be the event, good for you. You're prepared. You're good to go. If it turns out to be a non-event, are you stupid for preparing? Absolutely not. You're getting ready because guess what? Down the road, something else will happen. Guaranteed 100%, either to you individually, your family, your town, your county, your state, the country, who knows? There's going to be something that is going to come up. It does all the time. Something comes up all the time. Right now, let's talk about down in Mississippi. What are they dealing with? Are they thinking about the coronavirus, or are they thinking about flooding and their homes being flooded once again? I'm pretty sure their focus is on the flooding. That would be my guess, okay? There's an event that happened. That's an SHTF event for those people in that area. Again, there's something going on around the world all the time, no matter what. So if you're getting ready for this event and that turns out to be nothing, then guess what? It's a win-win because now you're ready for the next event. So that is not, there's no shame in it. There's no shame in being afraid, guys, okay? You watch the news, you watch everything that's going on. It can be very, very scary, which I will be the first to say. You see this stuff and you go, man, what is going on, But at the same time, use that fear as a motivator. Use it in a positive way. Panic is the enemy. We never want to panic, no matter what. Even if this, okay, let's say this blows up completely in the United States and this infection is all over and a whole bunch of people are being infected. Now, a lot of people are going to panic, but smart people are not going to panic because the smart people thought ahead, prepared, got ready. We might be fearful. We might be like, oh crap, this is it moment, okay? But we're going to act. We are not going to react. And that's what I always will encourage you to do. Make sure you're helping yourself. That's my number one goal of what I do on here. I encourage people to help themselves. I want to show people how I live off grid, how I have a better lifestyle that I think than a lot of people do. A lot less stressful, a lot less BS to deal with, a lot less bills to deal with, okay? Once I get this greenhouse rocking and rolling, I'm going to have a lot more food that I'm going to have grown myself that's going to be very organic. I'm going to have fish access all the time. I can't wait to get that going. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's some stuff that I got to do with the greenhouse first, but it's going to happen, okay? So again, those are things. Always do something to help yourself. Put yourself in a situation where you're helping yourself move forward, and that's what it's really about. So, I will, like I said, I'm always going to encourage you, and anybody can do it, guys. If I can do what I have done here, anybody can do it. Anybody can. So you just have to have that determination, the stubbornness, and that will not to give up. And don't let people tell you what you can't do, because I'm going to tell you what, I have had so many people tell me what I wasn't going to be able to do, what I couldn't get done, and guess what? I did it. And guess what they had to do? They had to shut up and eat crow, because you know what? I did it. And what are you going to say then? So, it's, and I didn't do it because of them. I did it because that was my determination and thing. And I wanted to show them too. I wanted to show them they were wrong, because the last thing, don't tell me what I can't do, because I will show you that it's going to get done, So that's just, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I think there was some other things I wanted to share with you. Let me see. But yeah, it's like I was talking about the ship there again. I'm going to go back to that really, really quickly, okay? So you're talking about a total of 621 people tested positive for coronavirus on this ship. 79 new cases just as of yesterday, okay? But still, today, they let 600 people leave that ship into Japan to be able to go to the airport, to fly wherever they want to fly around the world, except for the United States. I know they're not flying there because we have, like I said, we have 61 more Americans on that ship, and they're on a no-fly list. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you how bad this is? If this is not a big deal, all these countries would not be closing down their borders. It would not be happening. So that's something I really want you guys to think about, because there's some scary stuff going on, and it's not again, I'm going to get on here every day. Things continue to get worse. Things continue to deteriorate. You're seeing other things happening now in other countries, not just China, okay? When you have Vietnam has locked down 10,000 people now, quarantined 10,000 people, it looks like Iran is going to lock down that city where that 2 people just died from the coronavirus. This thing is going to be all over the place. Think about, and I want you to think about this for a second, guys. Let's go back to, we're going to go back to 2 different areas. We're going to go back to Africa for one, and we're going to look at Asia for another one. And when I say Asia, I'm talking India, Pakistan, the Middle East, all that whole area there. Their medical capabilities are nowhere near like the Western capabilities as far as medicine goes. They're not prepared at all. I mean, we are underprepared, absolutely 100%. We in the United States and other Western countries are not prepared, but they are not prepared at all. This virus gets rampant and goes crazy in these cities or in those countries. It's going to be a nightmare. You're going to see people dropping like flies, and I think it's already too late for this to stop it. I really do, because of all the people that were traveling all over the place. You had that holiday, the Chinese New Year, and I think that affects everything. I really do. So it's definitely something to keep in mind, keep paying attention to, because what's going on is definitely no joke. It's no joke at all. Guys, I see we got 1,900 people in the chat, and we're at 985 on the thumbs up. If you would shoot me a thumbs up, I would appreciate it to show support for the channel. And thank you for that ahead of time. I do appreciate that. So good crowd for a Wednesday, though. I'm not gonna complain at all. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. That's awesome. Love the comments. Love what people are saying. Oh, I'm missing something. I was wondering why this wasn't moving. Hold on a second. What is going on? Here we go. I think I might have missed some stuff here, guys. Hold on a second. Let me just go back here really quickly. Oh, okay. Hey, Asif, I hope I'm saying it right. I'm not sure. When I filled up the flatbed to the max at Sam's today, and then the checkout person looked at me weird, I said I'm prepping for a snowstorm apocalypse, 1 to 2 inches for tomorrow in update South Carolina. That's funny. I like that. That's very, very funny. And thank you very much for that donation. Yeah, I had people today when I bought, and I'll tell you, I bought more soup. I bought some more chili. Picked up some other stuff as well. And the lady said to me, "Oh," and then I actually went to the dollar store and I was picking up a couple things there, and they had black beans. The bags of black beans, 1 pound black beans. Well, if you go to a regular store, they're pretty expensive. They were $1 a piece there. There was 12 of them, and I bought all 12. And she said to me, "Oh, well, what are you cooking?" I said, "I'm not cooking anything." But again, you take advantage of those situations, and now I have 12 more pounds of black beans in stock. I can use them for whatever I need to. I also, like I said, I added more canned goods today and stuff like that as well. And she asked me, "Oh, well, what are you getting ready for?" And I said, "Just getting some stuff together." So again, we're going to do what we're going to do. Hey, Math, Music, and Life. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I missed that. I stopped multiple water use suspected. Oh, I've stopped municipal. Okay, water use. Yeah, you know what? I don't blame you there. If I had to use public water, I would definitely have something like a Big Berkey or something to that effect to make sure I refiltered all that water. Because first of all, what are they putting in municipal water? They're putting chlorine in municipal water, or fluoride. I'm sorry, fluoride. So, I'm not trusting that. They don't need to put fluoride in the water. Why are they putting fluoride in the water? Okay. So fluoride is not good for you. So, that kind of water, I would be filtering everything anyway, if it was me. Now I'm on a well, and I filter all my well water anyway. So I still filter the water, but, no, that's one thing I would definitely recommend people have as well as a Berkey. Extra filters, absolutely good thing to have, very smart to have. And I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. Just saying, love my Berkey though. My Berkey is absolutely awesome. It's a great asset to have in your home. You should be filtering everything that you're going to drink. That's my opinion on that. Should I go camping in Garner State Park in 2 weeks? You know what? That's going to be a call you're going to have to make as you get closer there. If you've made reservations to go there, I would pay attention to what happens in the next 10 to 12 days. And if things look okay, then go. If they don't, then don't go. I know I talked to somebody and they were saying that they had a friend of theirs that was booked for a month-long cruise, and they did it over a year and a half ago. And so they were still going on the cruise anyway because they would have lost money if they canceled it. Now, me personally, you couldn't give me free tickets to go on a cruise right now. There's no way I would go on a cruise. Absolutely not. But that's my opinion. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go. I would have canceled it. I would have eaten what I had to eat out of that, and that would have been it. ETA on shelter in place. Hard to say. You know what? As I'm continuing to watch stuff, like I said, I think a lot of things are happening here in the States that we're not being privy to. If we had clear numbers of what was going on here, I think it would be a better indicator of what was happening. Here's what I would recommend, guys. Watch your local hospitals. See what's going on. Pay attention to what's happening. If you're seeing a huge influx of people with the flu going to the hospitals, I would be worried. I would be concerned. And so that's why I really, really encourage you guys to get ready to shelter in place. When the time comes, and like I said, I just talked to my daughter again today about it. Ossification. Okay, Asif. Okay, Asif, I got you. When cartilage hardens on the bone. Okay, Asif. Okay, I got it. I wasn't sure how to say your name, and I apologize. And thank you very much for that donation as well. I do appreciate it. But yeah, so now I got it. Asif. All right, cool. But again, pay attention to what's going on around you locally. If you were seeing a huge influx of people being sick, a lot of people going to the hospitals and stuff like that, that might be a really early indicator that things are a lot worse than they're being said. And especially if we're not given the information that it is an influx, especially in the cities. I would pay attention more so in the cities because you have such a high concentration of people in those areas. That would be where my biggest concern would be, to be honest with you. Smaller towns, harder to tell again, but you don't know who's traveling where or where they've been. We have a Chinese family that lives in town that has a Chinese restaurant in town. Okay. I don't know where they've traveled to. I don't know if they traveled over the break. Nobody knows. So again, that's not like you're going to walk up to them and say, where did you go over your break? Because you're Chinese, I have to ask you. That's not right. Somebody white could have traveled over to China. Somebody black could have traveled over to China over the break. You don't know. So again, you need to be looking at everything. I don't want to say suspiciously, but just be aware. Don't stereotype. Please don't do that to people. That's just not the way we should be doing it anyway. We just have to look at this and realize this is a very serious issue. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we really need to be on top of stuff, but like I said, if I lived in the cities, I'd be watching the hospitals for an overflow of people. Alabama, roll tide. Yep, I got to agree with you on there. Roll tide all the way. Always root for them. Love them guys. Great teams. How many days should we plan on to lock down? Okay, if you're planning on locking down, I would say 4 to 6 weeks. Prepare for that kind of number. If things get bad, plan on longer. That would be my recommendation. Can you tell me what kind of meds and vitamins I should have on hand? Well, you should definitely have vitamin C all the way for sure. Iron supplements. You should have, vitamin E, vitamin D. Well, vitamin D, vitamin C, and definitely iron for sure. Anything else you want to add to that, that's fine. A multivitamin is also a good thing to take. As far as meds go, get any kind of cold meds that you can get ahead of time. Again, things break off here really quickly, and I think that's how it'll come out in the United States. It'll be like that. There's not going to be any meds in the store. And here's the other thing you really got to think about, guys. With everything that's going on in China right now, it is going to it's going to affect what we are getting into the United States. There is going to be a problem with supplies coming into the United States when most of our stuff, zinc. I'm sorry, zinc is a good thing as well. With the supplies coming into the United States, they're not coming in like they normally do, and we get so many of our things from the United States or from China. So it is going to affect everything. Don't be surprised if we have don't be surprised if we have an economic collapse from this down the road here. If this thing continues to get worse, which I believe that it will, you're going to see it affect everything. It's going to affect the economy. It's going to infect production. I almost said something bad there. I didn't mean to. I wasn't even trying to. It's going to affect production. It's definitely going to affect if people are going to get laid off, because if you can't have supplies coming in from China for the different parts that they need to make different things, people are going to have to get laid off because there's just not going to be the work for them, which was going to affect everything. So Hong Kong is out of toilet paper. I saw that somebody robbed a place of like 130 rolls of toilet paper. That's just crazy. So could you imagine, what are you in prison for? Yeah, man, I was stealing toilet paper. That would be embarrassing. I'm sorry. That would be embarrassing. Yep, if the economy doesn't crash, it's going to be at least a drastic fall. Absolutely. This whole thing, you got to understand, guys, the world is not this great, big, huge thing that you think about where things that happen someplace else are not going to affect us. They are going to affect us. And because so much of our stuff that we get comes from China, there's issues, huge issues over there right now, way worse than we are being told. This whole death rate that they're giving us, not even close to the truth. And we know that. The government knows that. Why do you think the government is preparing so hard right now? And why are they trying to keep it under wraps here? I'm going to tell you, everything that's going on, there's a lot more to it. It's a lot. There's a lot more to it. Ripple effects, exactly. Absolutely. 100% there's ripple effects on that. I'm going to say it again, guys. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. I see we got 2,000 people in the chat. Now, the record for the chat was set on Sunday. We had 2,300 people in the chat on Sunday. It was a great, great amount of people on Sunday. And we hit 1,800 thumbs up. I mean, we're at 1,200 thumbs up, which I'm not complaining about that at all. So, but, good numbers. I appreciate you guys all being here. It's awesome that we've had some really, really good crowds and great comments, guys. Military preparing for a pandemic. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Like I said, you got to understand, they're trying to get ready very quietly without getting people to panic. When people panic, guys, it's over. That's the end game right there, because there's not going to be anything in the stores at all. What are the latest numbers? I'm in isolation and not getting up. Okay, the latest numbers is saying that they're saying 76,262 people infected, 2,122 people dead. We obviously know that those numbers are not accurate. They're much, much higher than that. And, so, yeah, it's going fast again tonight. The chat, I know it's going really, really fast on here. Regular flu death rate is 0.1, but I have heard that the death rate is 5 to 10%. Yep. And he is a doctor. So, Asif, and I said it wrong again, didn't I? Asif, I'm sorry. He's a doctor. So he does have that information, guys. And he's saying that the death rate on this is 5 to 10%. Wouldn't surprise me if it was even higher than that, to be honest with you. So, think about that percentage of people dying out of 1 million people. It's a lot. Isolation procedures. Oh, good. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you, KM, and thank you for the donation as well. All right, so I was talking earlier today, and I said I was going to talk about isolation procedures tonight. How would you do it in your home? So if you got a room in your house that you want to use as a quarantine area, okay, you're going to make sure that that is covered up. There's no way to share the circulation of the air and stuff like that in that room. Then you're going to want to have an area in between there where you're basically, when you come into that area, that's where you're going to put on your protective gear and take off your protective gear in that area. You don't want to be out in the main area with everybody else. So you're going to want to have an area in between the isolation area in the main room. You want a separate area where you're going to change, take off your infected stuff, either get rid of it or wash it, to wash it, and also to be able to put on your stuff there. That's what you're going to want to do, and you want to make sure you have that. No, I'm not trying to have a potty mouth. I didn't say it. I didn't say anything bad. I keep slipping on my words, though. It was weird. And I wasn't even trying to say the F word. I was not. I don't want you guys to think that. I was not. But that's why, if you're trying to isolate somebody in your house, that's what I would recommend for people to do it that way. To have an area where you change, then you go in to that area where you have that person isolated. Again, you could have an outbuilding and use the outbuilding as an isolation area. So when you walk into the door of that building, you have an area taped off completely separate from the isolation area where you go in. That's where you change, put on your protective gear, go and take care of the people, come out, go back into that protective area, and change back out again. Hey, Burn Enough. Hey, what's your opinion about Alex Jones? I really don't watch Alex Jones. I've seen a lot of the stuff that he's done through the years. I don't have anything against him. I know that he does a lot of sensationalism. I will say that, but I don't have anything against Alex Jones. I think he's trying to help people as well, for the most part. Now, is some of the stuff that he said false or not true? I can't say. I don't judge anybody. I'll never get on here, guys, and bash anybody. He's not my cup of tea. I'll say that. So I really don't watch him. So, that's just being honest. Okay. There are channels out there, guys, that are very popular channels. I don't watch them because either I don't care for the person, or I don't like their message or how they do it or how they present themselves. And that's fine. So I make the choice not to watch, but I will never get on here and I'm never going to bash anybody. So again, you have to kind of go by your own choice. If your gut tells you, yeah, I don't like what this person is doing or what they're saying or how they're doing it, then just go on to somebody else. That's what I would recommend. Okay. So we're getting close to the end here. So we got to do this part like we do it near the end of all the shows, because this does take a while. So I'm going to ask for another thumbs up first, because we're at 1,300 on the thumbs up. So let's jump that number up tonight. We are legion, guys, and not in the bad biblical sense, but we are legion in the sense that we are many. We are all over the world. We're all over this country, preppers and off-gridders. We're a huge family of people. We are the ones that are awake, and we are the first line of defense, okay? Now, Ovid, Florida, don't go jumping the gun on me. You guys are already jumping the gun. Where's everybody from tonight? All right, so we got California, Florida, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Whitetail, New York, Maine, Minnesota, Anderson, South Carolina, Sacramento, California, Washington State, Maine again, Anderson, South Carolina, Batavia, New York, Florida, Toledo, Ohio. I saw Australia in there, Wisconsin, BC, Canada, Texas. We have Maine. Let's see. We have Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Georgia, Michigan. Let's see. South Carolina, New Hampshire. Let's see. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I saw Dublin. That's cool. Ireland. So that's very cool. I just saw Germany flew by. I didn't see what part of Germany, but Germany. St. Louis, very nice. Massachusetts, and I know I said it wrong and don't care. Detroit, Michigan. Southwest Colorado, Utah, Maryland. You guys probably just put that up there so I say it every time. Let's see. Arkansas, Arizona, New Zealand, very nice. Verone, New York. We have Oregon, very cool. Hey, Mac, over by that tree. Exactly. Thank you for the donation. Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have, oh my goodness, Illinois, Ohio, Valhalla, very nice. I like that. England in the UK, very nice. Oklahoma, Stockton, California. Let's see. We got Germany again. Oh my goodness. Iowa, Ohio. Let's see. Greenland, southern Minnesota, North Carolina, Kansas. We see Iowa, Lake Country, Florida. Very nice. New Mexico. Let's see. Texas. We have more Pennsylvania, Texas again, New Jersey, northern Maine, Scotland. Very nice. We have, oh my God, let's see. Western Australia. Very nice. Indiana, Ohio, Sacramento, California. Quebec. Very nice. Up in Canada. Ontario in Canada. And so, guys, we're all over. We're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're this huge family, this huge network of people. And I've talked about this many, many times, and I will always bring this up. If we network and work together, there will be no stopping us when the time comes. Networking is key, getting to know fellow preppers, working together. And saying that, I'm going to go back to talk about my website real quick. We have the Prepper Nurse One community on my website. So if you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, you can click on the Prepper Nurse One community. Let's see, pretty rough right now because, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. Anyways, could you please real quick talk about the poster behind you? Looks funny. Okay, well, the poster behind me, one of my subscribers made that for me. And so he sent that to me. And I just thought it was very, very cool, and I liked that. It was very nice of him to do that. And so that is why I put that up there. And, of course, as you can see, I mean, look at that picture, right? Very, very anatomically correct. It's me 100%. Well, I may have the dad bod going a little bit now, but I did look like that at one point when I was younger. So I was jacked up pretty good when I was younger and had time to do nothing but work out all the time. So, but anyway, again, if we network and work together, guys, and like I said, if you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, we have the Prepper Nurse One community there, totally free to join, doesn't cost anything. You can go there, you sign up, and be part of the community. Talk to people from your state, your country. We have disabled preppers there. We have senior preppers. We have single preppers. anything you want to get there. A lot of good information, a lot of message boards there, a lot of sharing of information. So definitely go and check that out. Again, I'm going to mention really quickly, the legacy sale is going to continue on my website until Sunday. If you're interested, go check that out as well. Click on store, it drops down, you'll see legacy, click on that. You can save 20% at checkout on any of the freeze-dried food except for the sample packs. So if you are interested, definitely go check that out as well. Again, guys, I appreciate everybody being here. I want to thank my moderators. They absolutely do a fantastic job day in, day out when we do these chats. They're always here keeping the chat clean, so I really appreciate what they're doing. They're absolutely awesome. I appreciate all you guys being here, showing support for the channel. It's fantastic, and I thank you for that. I really, truly do. Thank you, guys. Anybody that sent me a donation, if I didn't mention you, not on purpose, I apologize, but it goes by so fast. Sometimes I miss them. So thank you again, everybody. You guys you are awesome. You really are. I enjoy being here. I enjoy chatting with everybody, sharing information. Obviously, join me Friday for the next live stream. Check out, I'll have videos up tomorrow as well. Again, thank you everybody for being here, guys. Again, hit that thumbs up button one more time if you haven't done so, just to show support for the channel. We're at 1.4 today, which is, it's really good. I'm not going to complain at all. Had a nice crowd of 2,000 people at the Max tonight, so that was very good as well. Thank you, everybody. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. That is important to remember. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel. Also, remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is you. Nobody else can stop you, okay? Have a great night. I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.